This is Reida. The purpose of this video is to go over the, as it's called, the draft Oracle. From this page, I have this link here where you can download Tableau Public. So just to show what that is really quick. This is a program I use for data visualization. It is free. You just type in your email address, download the app. I'm not really sure how large it is, but it's really cool, so hopefully you end up using it outside of this dashboard. If you scroll down a little bit further, this is what we're trying to get. This top section is all of your so-called available players. As you select them, you want to put them on your team or someone else's team, but you want to just say they're no longer available. The actual assigning of the person to each of those sets is the reason you have to actually download this dashboard, because that functionality is not currently available. On the lower right, you can see where you can download it. So I click on that. You'll notice that you can also download Tableau Public right here where it says get the app. So I'll click on that just to show it. Same place. All right. So back to the pop-up. Tableau Workbook. That's what you download or click to get this workbook downloaded. So I click that. Lower left browser. There it is. Go ahead and click on it. Somewhere it will open. There we go. All right. So the vertical version that you saw online, the logo works here. The way this works is you want to take, we'll say, Todd Gurley and put them on your team. So you'll notice that there's a mouse over little box that comes up on these two bars. Not over here, it's just on those two bars here. You'll want to left click once, and you'll see that it pops up this little banner, we'll say, above the box. If it doesn't give it to you, and you just have the little box here without that, just click it again, and it'll come up. Just don't move your mouse around. On the upper right, you'll see this little overlapping circle. That is where you assign a player to one of the two sets. So one set, we'll see. I'll click on it once, add to my roster set, or add to taken player set. You want to click on one of these two to assign Todd Gurley to one of these two buckets at the bottom. Let's pretend that you have the first pick and coincidence, you just happen to pick Todd Gurley for your team. You will say add to my roster set. Click. He will come down here. There he is. And you'll see it's going to accumulate your by position numbers as well for you. Let's pick a few more. And for fun, we'll give you the rest of the teams a few players as well. All right, so you'll also notice that it groups them by position here as well as here, and it sorts them descending order on this field at the right. And I'll explain what the fields are in a moment. So that's how you take team members from the general file, give them to yourself or to someone else's team. On the upper banner here, you'll see this is where you select whether you want PPR or standard. This is important because PPR and standard, of course, have different projections, and it'll also give you a different ADP based on 10, 12, and also standard PPR. So you need to select which one you want here. I'll just click on standard just so you can see. Everything shifts. So once you've chosen, I'm going to leave it on 10 PPR. Let's see what we've got. So the far left is overall rank. Second column is the position rank. So you'll see it goes a little bit out of order. So number one receiver left, number one tight end left. So this is going to show the ranking position. You can also see that in the mouse over. Interestingly enough, Just showing the wrong number. I'll pretend I didn't see that. But Gronkowski is the number 1 rated tight end. He's number 5 overall at the moment with all of these people selected, and that's based on this descending order here. So this is the ADP. This here is projection for the week, and this is average projection each week, that is. And the far right column, which is what is sorting them, is that player's difference from the average of their position that is starting. So I'll give an example to help that make sense. Le'Veon Bell is 5.9 above the average running back only who is starting. So how many of each position is starting in my definition? I'm saying that 10 DST start, 10 kickers, 10 quarterbacks, 10 tight ends, and then 25 running backs and 25 wide receivers. So when it says 5.9 for Le'Veon Bell, that means he's scoring 5.9 more than the average running back who is starting, which is top 25. So he is scoring 5.9 more than the average of the top 25 running backs. And that is what I sorted on. Now, this can lead you astray, so you don't necessarily want to draft in this order, mostly this order. However, you will stray from this slightly. Example would be Rob Gronkowski. You do not necessarily want to pick him in the first round because his average draft position is third pick in the third round for 10-team PPR. So don't pick someone too early. Sometimes you want to delay them. And of course, you'll notice there are kickers in here. Here's one, kicker. Before Russell Wilson, you obviously wouldn't do that. So it might be easiest if you just turn those off until you actually want to pick up a kicker or a DST. Something I might add about kickers and DSTs, and really every position. There's an article. If this will minimize for me. Lessons learned from 2017. Not to discount forecasts, but what this thing does is it says how many of each position by scoring, it's refreshing on me, by scoring system, how many of the people at the preseason who were ranked in the top 10 ended in the top 10. So you can see that most positions are around 50% or less than 50% to stay in the top 10. And what this one means is if you were projected to be in the top 20, were you actually in the top 20 at the end of the year? This is much easier to stay in that grouping. So of course, those numbers are higher than the numbers above. But something to take away, we mentioned that tight ends, kickers, DSTs, you're only starting 10 of them. 10 quarterbacks, which means the top section is really the only one that matters. So what you can see here is that for DST last year, only 2 out of 10 who were expected to be in the top 10 actually ended in the top 10. So the takeaway is if this is going to stay consistent over time, the projections are this poor, do not select the DST too early. And don't necessarily take a kicker either too early. And this goes for every position. However, just additional grain of salt thinking with kickers and DSTs. There are ones you pick in the latter rounds. Definitely pick them in the latter rounds. Don't go and hop necessarily for a defensive team too early because a lot of times, 80% of the time that is, they don't work out as well as you expect. So make use of this. It's good to keep honest as far as how things are kind of inaccurate for a variety of reasons. All right, so let's hop back. All right, so this is the vertical version. This is the horizontal version. You can toggle back and forth on the bottom, and it'll keep your picks when you go from one to the other. If you make an accident, or you accidentally put someone in your team that should have been in the other team or their general pool, It's a little bit of a fiasco to fix it, but I'll show you. So you want to go to one of the sheets that makes up the dashboard. So I'm going to click on this one. It doesn't really matter which of these you click on, of these three, this one, this one, this one. But you'll notice over here, you can click on this little thing up here, little square with an arrow that says go to sheet. Just pick one. And up here, under dimension, you'll see this little magnifying glass. So you'll click the magnifying glass and press the word set. And I don't remember which one I was going to take. We'll take Todd Gurley. So we're going to go to my roster set. So whichever one they shouldn't be on, that's when you go to. I'm going to right click on this and say edit set. Todd Gurley, you simply just put your cursor on the X and left click for remove and say OK. Now you'll notice when you go back to the dashboard, he is no longer there and he's back in the general pool, and you can now click and assign him to add to taken player set down here instead. So boom, boom, there he goes. I appreciate any feedback you guys can give me. I believe my email address is on the home page, but I'm going to check really quickly. So under the About section, all the way at the bottom here, oh, of course, sign up for our mailing list. Right, where's my email address? Here it is. FFinsights.scott@gmail.com. Send me messages there. Let me know what you think. Tell me how I can improve it. Troy, who also, where's Troy? This one, Troy, told me I need to put the bye week on there. So I'm going to add the bye week. So that is going to sneak in here as well. So I'll probably put a little, just let you know the changes. I'm going to get rid of this to make it a little more pleasing to the eye. And maybe just write a few sentences saying this is what each of the columns are, and I'll add the bye week, and it'll be out there. So please make use of it. Please let me know how I can make it better. Thank you for listening.